Have you ever wondered why some people face extra challenges just because of who they are? Imagine being treated unfairly not for one reason, but for several, like because you were a girl and because you were black. That question inspired Kimberlé Crenshaw, a brilliant legal scholar who changed how the world talks about fairness and equality. Kimberlé Crenshaw was born in 1959 in Canton, Ohio. Growing up, she noticed that laws often helped some people, but didn't protect everyone equally. She wanted to understand why justice wasn't fair for all and made it her mission to change that. Young Kimberly was curious and full of questions. Her parents, both teachers, encouraged her to read, learn, and think deeply about the world. Her father would say, "Never let anyone tell you what you can't understand." Those words became her guide. At school, she noticed unfair treatment. Some teachers were stricter with black students, and girls were sometimes ignored in discussions. These moments helped her see how identity like race and gender could shape someone's experience. Even then, she wanted to know how to make things fair for everyone. Kimberly attended Cornell University, where she studied government and politics. She learned about the civil rights movement and the long struggle for equality. She began connecting what she studied to what she had seen in her own life. She joined student discussions about race, feminism, and justice. She spoke up when things were unfair and wrote essays about how laws often failed to protect people facing more than one kind of discrimination. Her voice grew strong and confident. After Cornell, she entered Harvard Law School. There, she was one of only a few black women in her class. She noticed that the law often looked at race and gender as separate issues, even though people live both at the same time. That question, how can justice work if it doesn't see the whole person, became the start of her life's work. In 1989, Kimberlé Crenshaw introduced a word that would change how we think about fairness: intersectionality. Imagine standing where two roads cross. One road is race, the other is gender. Cars come from both directions, and if both hit you, you experience harm from more than one side. That's how discrimination can work. Kimberly used intersectionality to explain that black women's experiences weren't fully understood by either women's rights or racial justice movements alone. Her article, Demarginalizing the Intersection of Race and Sex, became one of the most influential writings in civil rights history. She showed that people don't fit in single boxes. They live at the intersections of many identities. Section 5. Teaching and Leading Change. After law school, Kimberly became a professor at UCLA School of Law and later at Columbia Law School in New York. She taught civil rights and constitutional law, but focused on how laws affect real people. Her classrooms were filled with energy and debate. She encouraged students to think deeply about what fairness means and how the law can better protect everyone. Her teaching made students feel seen and inspired them to challenge unfair systems. She also helped shape critical race theory, an idea that looks at how racism isn't just individual, it's built into systems like schools, housing, and law. She showed that to make real progress, we must see and fix these structures. Kimberly didn't keep her ideas in the classroom. She co-founded the African American Policy Forum, a group that promotes equality and brings together scholars, artists, and activists. Through that forum, she launched the hashtag Say Her Name campaign, which honors black women and girls who were victims of police violence. Her message was clear: justice must include everyone's story, not just some. She became a powerful public voice, appearing on television and documentaries and at major conferences worldwide. Her clear, calm explanations helped millions understand how identity affects opportunity and fairness. Today, intersectionality is used in schools, workplaces, and governments to help people think about how different parts of identity overlap. Teachers use it to understand students' needs. Doctors use it to provide fair care. Companies use it to make workplaces more inclusive. Lawmakers use it to write better policies. Kimberly's idea changed how people around the world see justice. She reminded us that equality must work for everyone, not just those at the center of attention. Over the years, Kimberlé Crenshaw has received many honors for her groundbreaking work. But what matters most to her is how others use her ideas to help people who are often overlooked. Her TED Talk on intersectionality has reached millions of viewers, inspiring new generations to think about fairness in deeper ways. Scholars, artists, and young leaders now use her ideas to build a more understanding world. She proved that words can open doors to change. By giving people language for their experiences, she helped them speak and be heard. Kimberlé Crenshaw's story teaches us that big change begins with simple questions and brave ideas. She asked, how can justice work if it doesn't see the whole person? And used that question to reshape how society thinks. She shows us that fairness is not one size fits all. It takes listening, compassion, and the courage to include every voice. Her legacy reminds us that justice grows stronger when everyone is seen, heard, and valued. For young people, her message is powerful. Be curious, ask questions, and don't be afraid to challenge unfairness. Change always begins with someone who cares enough to notice.